Hello friends, how are you all doing? I hope you're well. And if not, perhaps today's story will bring a little warmth to your heart. Today, I'm going to take you back in time to a love story whispered through the corridors of history, echoing within the red sandstone walls of a timeless monument. The story is called Whispers of the Red Fort, a tale not just of love, but of sacrifice, of waiting, and of emotions left unsaid. A story that still lingers in silence within the Red Fort of Delhi. If you're someone who finds beauty in forgotten love stories and lost voices from the past, this one will stay with you for a long time. So sit back, relax, and let your imagination walk through the gates of history. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's begin Whispers of the Red Fort. Chapter 1: The Heir and the Artist. Delhi, 1854. The Red Fort stood proud, casting its vast shadow over the Yamuna. Inside, behind the sandstone walls, lived Prince Mirza Ali Zafar, youngest son of Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor. While his older brothers schemed over politics and the succession, Ali Zafar was a dreamer. His love was not war, but poetry, not power, but peace. One evening, during a poetry mehfil inside Rang Mahal, Ali's eyes met those of Marinisa, a painter's daughter. She was there to help her father, who worked for the royal household, painting delicate floral motifs on the palace ceilings. Marinisa's presence was quiet, graceful, but her eyes, large and inquisitive, mirrored the depth of 1,000 verses. Their world should never have touched. He was royalty. She was an artisan's daughter, yet in that brief glance, a spark ignited. Chapter 2: Sketches and Sonnets. Over the weeks, their paths crossed more often. Ali would visit the painters under the pretense of reviewing their work, always stopping by her side. She, in turn, would linger longer whenever she saw his silhouette in the corridor. One day, he brought her a piece of poetry, written on fine parchment. You paint with colours, I with words. Yet both seek the same truth in silence. She smiled, not replying, but the next day he found a miniature sketch of him tucked between pages of a book in his room. She had drawn him from memory, lines soft yet precise, eyes thoughtful, jaw tense with restrained passion. They began leaving each other secret messages in verses and sketches. The Red Fort became their silent accomplice. Chapter 3: Shadows over the Empire. But shadows were growing over Delhi. The British East India Company tightened its grip. Inside the fort, whispers of rebellion brewed. The emperor, old and wary, tried to maintain dignity, but everyone knew Mughal glory was fading. Ali's brothers began suspecting him, too lost in poems to be a prince, one scoffed. They did not know of Marinisa, but they sensed something different. Their love deepened in silence. They never touched, just lingering glances, brief conversations, secret notes. It was pure, yet heavy with longing. One evening, in the moonlit Diwan Icos, Ali said, "If fate tears us apart, promise me you'll remember every verse, every whisper between these walls." She whispered, "I will remember even the silence between the words." Chapter 4: The Rebellion of 1857. And then it happened. The year 1857, sepoys rebelled against the British in Meerut. The fire spread rapidly to Delhi. The Red Fort, once a symbol of peace, turned into a battleground. The British stormed the city. Prince Ali, though not a warrior, took up arms. He couldn't abandon his people, his father, or her. In the chaos, he tried to find Marinisa, but her home in Chandni Chowk was burned. Her father was missing. Rumours said she fled with other families toward Agra. Ali fought for weeks. Then, one night, he was captured near the banks of the Yamuna, injured and betrayed. The British took him as a prisoner. Chapter 5: The Trial and the Tomb. Bahadur Shah Zafar was exiled to Rangoon. Ali Zafar, along with 2 of his brothers, was brought before a military court. The sentence, death, before dawn, in a narrow alley outside the Red Fort. They were executed, no public mourning. No funerals. Ali had died with a name on his lips, Marinisa, but the story did not end there. Chapter 6: The Letters Beneath the Stone. Years passed. The British turned the Red Fort into a garrison. Delhi changed. modernized, forgot. But inside one of the fort's abandoned rooms, a British officer named Charles Davenport, fond of poetry, discovered a hollow behind a stone. Inside, wrapped in silk, were dozens of papers, sketches of a young prince, poems in delicate Urdu, and one final note in feminine handwriting: "You were taken by war, but left behind a world in verse. I live in shadows, but your words light every corner of my memory. Until we meet beyond time, Merenisa." Charles published a few of those poems anonymously. Over time, they became part of Urdu literary circles, rumoured to be from a forgotten Mughal prince, written for a nameless beloved. No one knew the full story, until now. Epilogue. Whispers never die. In 1947, as India gained independence, an elderly woman was seen placing roses near the Diwan Khas. Her hands were wrinkled, her eyes cloudy, but she sat there in silence, lips moving slightly, as if reciting verses to someone only she could see. A young boy asked, "Dottie, what are you saying?" She smiled faintly, just whispering to someone who never really left. She was never seen again. But every monsoon, when the redfoot soaks in rain, visitors say they feel something in the air, a quiet presence, a faint whisper. Like poetry brushing against time. Friends, how did you like this story? The Redfort still stands. Its walls still echo the silent witness of that love. Love doesn't vanish. It simply sleeps in the depths of time. If you like the story, please give it a like. Share it with someone you love. And yes, don't forget to comment below which historical love story you'd like to hear in the next episode. We'll meet again with another story. Until then, stay well and stay in love.